Welcome, everybody, to Their Real Agile by the Agile Lounge with your host, Coach AF. To talk about today, this Friday, April 10, on an unscripted series of testing the most valuable product of this podcasting, Épisode 0.1. We're going to talk about how to navigate in the Coronavuca. Welcome. Yes, indeed. What amazing time we are living in. So today I would like to address all of this brainstorming or discussion that we should, as Agilists, have together. I think it's really important in these time of crisis. Whatever is your belief on the sources or the way it's going, we really truly have to be in the present. And I think when you are navigating into business agility for so many years, like me, if you are, you probably question yourself now, seeing the big government all around the world, even some big corporation, suddenly being agile without knowing it. So that's my first thing. And I know this today podcast will be in English because, as I promised to my audience, it's going to be French one Friday, English the other Friday. And when we're going to start having interviews, we might even add Spanish to it. Yes, in hablar en español. But today is the English one. So next Friday, the 17th of April, is going to be a French edition of the Their Real Agile podcast. And I'm your host, Alexandre Frédéric Joly, and you could call me Coach AF, and you could laugh about my initial. I like it a lot. So really, I decided this subject for the second episode of the testing episode. And don't get me wrong, I won't call it Sprint Zero, but Season 1 will be called Sprint 1. That's going to probably start in May. And starting in May, it's going to be once a month, one Friday a month, and surely the last Friday of the month that we're going to gather live on YouTube. And you could catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundClouds, and many other platforms as we will go along. So right now that I have my two first episodes, I will send it to my cloud distribution of RSS feed, and you'll be able to catch up with you when you are doing jogging. I hope, because doing jogging with listening to talks and walk the talk about agility, business agility mostly, and conscious agility that I'd like to put forward into the world will be the motto of this Their Real Agile. And the concept, again, will be to have people who would like to dare speaking about subject within the agility movement that is rarely spoken, or it's too much spoken, and we have to get another perspective on this. So truly, this is the mission statement so far, where we are in our MVP of proposing to the international community of people who would like to be agile. Yes, because the part of the real factor, it's being agile, not doing agile. And I would like to remember my audience that agile is not a thing you buy, it's a thing you are. And it's a thing, as a coach, you should actually passionately transmit. Don't transmit the virus, but transmit your love of pleasing the customer, pleasing the people who work to build those beautiful products, from software to mobile application to even innovative stuff that we have in all kind of business and all kind of any size, actually. And remember, to be a true agilist, especially if you're a consultant like me and some others, the first thing you have to do is listening carefully to those who would like to have your experience, because the experience will be more profitable for them if you've been on the field. And this is all about daring saying real agile. It's not meaning that there's necessarily fake people out there, but of course there is in many fields. But I mean, like, it's not to be insulting. It's to wake up. It's to wake up to the fact that if you don't listen to the organization that reach out to you, like they do at Agile Lounge often, you won't really be able to understand what they truly want. And we offer at the Agile Lounge an agnostic, holistic point of view on that. And we don't come with a one-size-fits-all, and we don't come either with any type of framework toolbox. This is from the past. We are living in the present. And in the present moment, we are most of, I think it's about like, someone says in the news, I think on the BBC or Euronews, that there is about 50% of the world in lockdown and another 20% in through quarantine. And I don't know if you know the difference between lockdown and quarantine, but lockdown, from what I understood, is like we experience here in Montreal, Toronto, bit parts of New York States as well, where it's highly suggested by the healthcare authorities through the political authorities to stay at home. So it's the famous hashtag stay at home and so on, and everything will be good. And a quarantine, like my fellow agilists and friends in San Francisco, for example, here in North America, and some part of New Jersey, I heard, and even like this is not necessarily a lockdown where they shut businesses, school, and so on. They did that. Now they're on a second stage of quarantine, which means like you have to stay at home. I think if people from Paris listening to us, you could come for me on the chat of the YouTube live we're doing. If I'm wrong or right, because I don't try to be wrong or right. I'm just trying to explain what I understood, the difference between a lockdown and a quarantine. But nevertheless, in those two situations, there's one is more like mandatory, the quarantine. And this is why you could see some footage right now on YouTube or on the net about these drones going into Boston, San Francisco, Paris, and all these cities with a more seriously quarantined than a lockdown itself. So back to that subject. Of course, in this day and age, we are in the center, in the core of this crisis on the COVID-19. There's a lot of talk from many entrepreneurs, many businesses, even some of my clients close to me, that they try to figure it out, what they're going to do moving forward, moving onward after that crisis. And now the public authority, they don't know, they don't really have the right numbers, who is sick, who is not sick, what is the lethality, and so on. So we still maneuver in what we call in Agile this VUCA world. And I will remind my audience about the meaning of VUCA. The V stands for volatility. It's a real volatile type of world right now. And it's not just about the stock market. I'm talking about everything is volatile. You don't know, because it's day-to-day kind of manage, about what will be the downfall of this, what will be the lockdown or the any restriction, when it's going to reopen, and so on. So this is a really volatile, and it's bring to the you with uncertainties. So the uncertainties, of course, we are living in an uncertain time, both individually and collectively. And the full VUCA is C for complexity. Now, even in a normal time, and let's call it normal with iPhone, the thing is, what is normal and what is the new normal? And don't let anyone think for you or press your thinking. And here with the Dare Real Agile on the core subject of business agility and conscious agility, we would like to be here to actually give you some tips as we go along with those podcasts about because the thing of being agile in this complex world, in a normal time, we try to teach organization and leader and entrepreneur and people who'd like to make a difference in the world with their products, services, and solution. Either to be the first, often the goal of most of the clients I have, you could share with me if it was the case in the comment section below, especially for the live YouTubers. And for those who listen to me on the podcast, you could write me an email at coach@agilelounge.com. It will be nice to read from you, your thoughts and everything, and to get back to you in the future screening and podcast. But the thing is, have it in mind, most of my clients and most of people out there, when they want to be agile before the coronavirus crisis outbreak, was always about the complexity of their client. They never know how to please their customer. They never know, and they also struggle with labor, sometimes with finding the right specialist to do the right stuff. So for them, it's the VUCA is not that much about volatility or uncertainty. It's often about the complexity of things, complexity of mindset of people, complexity of, especially for big corporation, big size corporation, with all the process, all the procedure, all the rules they have to follow, and so on and so on and so on. And of course, the A stands for ambiguity. And ambiguity, now it will be more in the interrelation within the people that could work within a project or within a product management. And as facilitator and coach, I think our duty is to truly walk the talk. Maybe spend less time on teaching the stuff or the value system of agile and lean thinking, and get on the ground with those teams to understand what is the cause of their ambiguity and help them finding solution, all right, to remove that ambiguity, especially in the interrelation they have between them as you go onward building your team. So I think it's one of the tips that I would like to give to my colleague, because when I start doing it with my teams that I was helping building, because I was, as a coach, you don't do nothing, you don't do the S word. You actually facilitate and help and assist and support the Scrum Master out there, the product owner out there, to solve these kind of things. So this is probably the core. So you start with the A, so you transform the ambiguity into acceptance behavior. Yeah? And in the crisis, the 6 steps of going through up to the acceptance stage. And acceptance stage doesn't mean docility or you give up everything. No, it's not giving up. It's actually letting go of things that it's not under your responsibility and or your control. But of course, in agility, we don't use the word control. We're going to use responsibility. Everyone is responsible. So if we try to answer the question of today's podcast, how to navigate, I put navigate, I could have put something else, but how to navigate in this Coronavuca. Because Corona, for some of my fellows, especially in Europe, they are a lot more hit than us in North America, I think, especially France, Spain, and Italy. They seems to, on LinkedIn and on some blogs I saw, they talk about it's VUCA on steroid, it's VUCA on this and that. But to be the truth, beside small entrepreneur and small business and all my shop that I helped towards the years on were like 50 employees or less working on a specific product and growing their business with a specific software or a specific application or a specific solution, digital solution. The VUCA is always there. Because there is one I call internal VUCA. It's really funny to call it like this, but this is it. When you are a big bank or a big corporation, you create a lot of things from years. It's and I'm not just talking about technologically speaking. We will say, this is the legacy system. You heard that term. But next to the legacy system of tools, of the tooling they use, very, very, very like huge part and tool, they always have also those process and procedure, those framework, very strong framework. And that's creating a VUCA. I don't know if you saw my colleague, Merci. I probably put the link to one of his nice, funny video he do with cartoons. Because he showed like a project manager who tried to navigate in a big corporation. He's being asked by business owners to go to market faster. In the normal world before the coronavirus, that was kind of the say, let's be more productive and let's go to the misunderstood of the book from Jeff Sutherland, twice the work and half the time. Wasn't mean like to screw people into slavery of productivity. No, it was saying like work smarter, work more intelligently. So the thing is, you see that project manager has been asked to do agile. Okay, you see the mistake they already made, like when they ask it, and from there, It will go right away on the web, search for keywords and stuff. But they try to, and they experimented, like, and there was, okay, there's this framework. Let's try with this framework. So we'll gather the team of developers, QA analysts, the designer and stuff, and they will start doing things that they read in books or in the internet, and this and that. And all of a sudden, as they go along, by establishing their framework for production and so on, they will have dependency. And I'm not talking about this third question and the daily scrum. Do you have blockers? Of course, they will have blockers, especially in a big or medium type of size corporation, where accounting, finance, where probably also internet security, what have you. All those departments will say, like, no. I don't have time. You have to open that tickets to go. So of course, this is what I call the internal VUCA. Okay, all of these process and procedure that you have to follow to get the S done. Okay, again, the S word. And truly, that will be the first experimenting of those teams, and this new project manager converting slowly into a coach. Or a lot of people will say Scrum Master if you do Scrum, but I don't want to go again agnostically into naming, tagging, the frameworking. So this is why, let's be clear together. When I say a coach, it's obviously someone who facilitates the team to navigate towards smarter ways and uncovering ways of working together smarter and better, with, of course, agility and business agility. So that's the duty. And then the owner, that I call, is the one who proposed the why we should do that product and solution, and he requests to the teams how to do this. So basically, this is the internal VUCA. So the duty of a coach is to remove those obstacles. Is it? Did I make a mistake here? Is or she is to remove? No. The team altogether, with the support and facilitation of the coach, will actually go on and propose solution to be more self-organized. Okay, if developers need a spatial space to test something or a sandbox, they should be able, but with the interaction, remember ambiguity with the interaction, so they should have a clear conversation with those people, maybe integrate a build master within their team. You have so many solutions, but they have to find it. You have to give them practical example of actually coming up with solution that will suit their context. And if you saw often a process that is being challenged or asking for derogation, for example, that means that if you're a true agile being, you will then make everything to change that policy properly within the organization that will agilize this organization. So this is in a normal time. Can you imagine? And right now, because the new normal is to either stay at home, remotely work, and having a lot of things that before the crisis of COVID-19, a lot of people were actually been refused or declined or saying no to even remotely working because of the trust was not there. Now, all of a sudden, the trust is a little bit more there. And also, we could say that there's the factor of self-organized team and agility. This value and principle is very important. So how could you not let people go in a crisis to work safely at home, still producing values, and find ways to collaborate? So this is one of the topic that we could address, the how to navigate into the Coronavuca. It's exactly, I think, about these factors, which is clearly having this momentum now with the crisis of we don't have choice. And because we don't have choice, we jump all the way on doing things more agile and more lean. And I'll give you an example here from my Quebec state within Canada. And I did have contract with the government in the past of project management / agile kind of project management. and it was taking so long to actually try to not even convince, but to change their mindset, to give them the values and principle to help them making decision of being more agile. Because agility is a way to navigate, actually. This is why I choose the word how to navigate into this Coronavuca. So an example is what happened with the Quebec government right now. I don't want to do politics here. It's truly about the management. And as a 20 years old agile lean guy, I truly see that government, both from the administration side to the political side, being truly agile, proposing some values such as the MVP with le panier bleu.ca. I think they will translate it because it's only in French right now in Quebec, but I think panier bleu will be the bluebasket.ca, which is a platform to gather all local business, digital or not digital, to encourage people to reach out to them and to purchase locally stuff and to kind of maintain a local economy and local businesses, which is the principle and the why of that product. It's very wise and interesting, collectively speaking. But what astonishing me the most as a 20 years old practitioner of agility is seeing that in some few days, not even a week, or let's say a week and a half, a few days, it's within days, they came up with this MVP. Because, of course, a lot of people, like the bitches, there were those who they're never happy. They're always like criticizes. So I saw posts on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's not even working properly. I cannot register properly. Hey, come on, guys. The one thing for sure is a big government, and especially here in Quebec with the social democracy type of thing, it's very big. It's not like in the United States where it's more like light. And they managed to propose that platform, all right, in about days. So you have like a kind of a window. You have an MVP, a most valuable product, kind of ready, and they built it as they go along, and they added things, and they ask people to participate in it. They ask people, citizen, to participate in it, or any small business owner to give them some feedback on the spot. So this is, guys, a great example, a practical example of what is agility, business agility, and even conscious agility, because this will help society to have a network, a platform, to help even those who are not digitalized enough, maybe, to go on with a factor that they could actually keep their brick and mortar business, but now they should have also a website or ways for people to actually order online. So, this is a true example, guys, that we have here in Quebec State of initiative that without the coronavirus crisis, it will have taken, especially with the internal VUCA of those government agencies, it will have taken probably years to develop. Because I work in big corporation. They say we want to have it and we want to be the first, but they actually don't care because they don't have any motivation of pleasing their customer, their user, or even like in the sense of the government, it's not even customer and user. We talked about you and I, the citizen, that already have paid for that. So we wait for a return on our investment through our income tax to have something feasible. So I think like this is an example I'd like to highlight, that the Coronavuca, it's not slowing down business, actually. It's not slowing down creativity and innovation. I see a lot of opportunity out there, especially for us, the business agilists, especially for us, the lean thinker people, to go out there and propose to business owner of all size a way of working together, new ways of unfolding new ways, the tagline of our so blessed manifesto. And on that note, actually, that I decided to go into action. And again, I tried to co-create it, but for time boxing sake, so I will be facilitating next Wednesday, April 15, on Zoom. And go on the link in the description to subscribe if you'd like. But right now, I've got all my panel. 8 people will be in the Zoom panel. They're already there. And we're going to discuss in 3 dimensions to answer the question of how agility could help us betterness the way we work together and for the world, to change the society with that business agility type of mindset. And I'm doing it. It's a 3 hours from 5 p.m. Eastern time up to 8 p.m. So 3 dimension for 3 hours, an hour about the human being, how the behavior will change of the interaction between people, of the building team, with or without the remote factor. Okay. The second dimension will be about autonomy. Now we clearly see, even on states level, that self-organized and self-managed, more independent community is worth it. And how do we, as coaches and facilitator, will use this to help teaching our client that want to transform into more being agile, the importance of that self-managed, that is not chaos and anarchy. No. It's actually a factor of autonomy. If you hire a specialist or someone who knows something about your product, let him go, let her go about doing the thing. Okay? Build trust. So that dimension of autonomy will, of course, link with the human dimension that I spoke before into the interaction. So this will be a game changer. But of course, for a lot of us in agility, we know it for years already, because this is what we try to do. Now we have the opportunity, with all the example of innovator, creator, entrepreneur, small business, medium business, to clearly show up in the world with emphasizing the why of the technique and the value of the Agile Manifesto adapted to all business contexts, not a one-size-fits-all. And of course, my third and last dimension within this virtual forum next Wednesday will be about the digital world. And now it's more like the tooling aspect of it, because more than ever, we need to understand that it's not just the big city that should have a big high-speed internet. Because even here in Quebec, there's places not so far from the core of the Montreal city, they still don't have a proper internet to sustain a training with Zoom online. This is unacceptable. So we have to look at the digital infrastructure. How could we take this opportunity to help our people, our client, to be able to create or to even build their digital business next to their brick and mortar business? So these are the holistic, generalistic team that I invited you. And the funny thing is, even if I have a panel of 8 people that I will facilitate their discussion, it will be transmitted live on our Facebook page, on Facebook Watch, as well as YouTube. And with the help and the gratuity of, and I thank him a lot, Chris Bend from pickles.com, we will be able to have everybody drawing with, because his application is to do visual facilitation and creative facilitation. This is amazing. Go check it out right now, pickles.com, pickles.com. And we will use that tool, and the day of the forum, you're going to receive it as soon as you launch, start watching on Facebook and here on YouTube. And you'll be able to actually participate yourself in each of this dimension that we call the tableau. And just to make sure, because as you know, their Real Agile podcast is bilingual. So once every 2, it's French or English. This forum for now on next Wednesday, the 15th of April at 5 p.m. Eastern time, will be in French mostly. We'll see about, but most of the participants will be French speaker from Quebec and even France. And we decide like to focus on the value of Scrum, focusing and having a good quality of present, not to do a bilingual kind of 3 hours, because it's going to be like too cacophonic. So we're going to concentrate and do a French version of it. But I already have a lineup of 3-4 people who wrote me. Could we have it also in English? So the answer is yes, my dear. We are going to please you as subscriber and enthusiasm of agility. And within the next 2 weeks, by the end of April, we're going to call up from our French experience next Wednesday, another Wednesday or Thursday, doing this digital forum of agility in English with probably a broader, more international coordination. And by the way, for those who will listen to this, if you'd like to help me, because I'm doing it on a voluntary base. So if you'd like to help me organize the second English version of this digital forum on agility and business agility to help us going through and even prepare the aftermath of this coronavirus crisis. Please contact me. Go to my website at agile-lounge.com or contact me directly here on YouTube for those who watch the live, and for those on podcast, please click on the link and reach out to me. Let's co-create things together. I'm more than open and welcome to work with anyone who want performance, who know thyself, who would like to go out and spread agility, business agility, and also co-creating with me this concept of conscious agility that I have. And now we're going to have a podcast purely dedicated to this. And also I'm more than welcome to have in the comment section here on the YouTube live or anywhere where you could reach me. I'm everywhere thanks to my marketing agent and so on. I'm truly reachable. There's no way if you type in Google Agile Lounge, you'll be able to reach me on so many platforms. Contact me. Anna, Samuel, or myself will be very glad to read you and to answer you back and do things, address topic. And again, the invitation is there. If you'd like to participate for now on Zoom, if you have something to say about business agility, if you have something to say about the way we could change the world and transform the world of work and even beyond right now, you're more than welcome. Their Real Agile is a space, a safe, free speech, free will space for you to talk mostly about all things business agility and anything that touch it, like the example I gave you of the Quebec government. This is one tiny example of all this innovation we have. And probably next week in this digital forum, it's going to be even more amazing with all of those. I could foresee some of the panelists are very, very creative and enthusiastic about putting some light into this darkness, because truly, even like today here in Montreal, it's really gray, but I know from the deep of my heart that the sun is always shining above the cloud. And this is what we have to have in mind when we talked about what we do to please people, please ourselves, and be well. So on that, my dear Agilists, Agile Loungers, the second episode of the the MVPs of my Dare Real Agile section 0.1 end like this. And I thank you very much for listening. Subscribe to my Apple iTunes podcast, Spotify, and everything. And talk to you next week, especially, again, as I said in April, it's every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York, Montreal. So next week, again, it's going to be in French. I'm returning back to my French community of Agilists. So thank you very much for listening. And have a great Easter weekend. Have a great Passover. Have a great Pascha. So thank you so much. And be agile, be safe, be well. And remember, enjoy life and keep smiling. Cheers.